At the end of the 2025 winter transfer window, Algerian international Saïd Benrahma said goodbye to his teammates at Lyon. Benrahma had only been in the French Liga for a year, but he'd just received an offer to play in Saudi Arabia and it was too good to turn down. And dozens of players had moved to Saudi Arabia on huge contracts. Cristiano Ronaldo was reportedly earning close to $250 million a year at Al Nassr, but Benrahma wasn't signing for one of the big clubs in the Saudi Pro League. He was signing for a club newly promoted to the second division of Saudi football, and it seemed like a huge step down. But this club was richer than all of them. In fact, it was probably the richest club in the history of football. NEOM Sports Club, based in the quiet city of Tabuk in the northwest of the country and owned by NEOM, the controversial, tightly guarded $1.5 trillion real estate mega project being built in virtual secrecy, 200 kilometers down the road. NEOM is entirely owned and funded by the Public Investment Fund, Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund, which majority owns Newcastle United too. The project, announced in 2017 by the country's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, is a high-tech series of developments covering 27,000 square kilometers of Tabuk province, bordering on Saudi Arabia's pristine and undeveloped Red Sea coastline. It was virgin land, they said, to build the settlements of the future, including the Line, a proposed 100-kilometer-long cognitive city. AI would monitor everything and use the data to predict and satisfy the needs of the city's proposed 9 million citizens. There would be no roads or currency, and the project would be staffed by robot servants and flying cars. The mega project was a vital component of Saudi Vision 2030, MBS's grand plan to wean the kingdom off oil and diversify the economy, as well as Saudi Arabia's successful bid for the 2034 World Cup finals. One of the host cities would be in NEOM, so if NEOM was to be a proper city with a proper World Cup stadium, then it needed a proper football team too. And that is where NEOM Sports Club comes in. In the summer of 2023, it was announced that Saudi Arabia's 4 biggest clubs would be privatised. The money would come from the Public Investment Fund, and it sparked one of the great gold rushes of modern football. That summer saw the arrival of Neymar Jr., Benzema, Kante, Mane, Firmino, and many more. €1 billion was spent in a few weeks, the same as the entire healthcare budget of Moldova for a year. And buried at the bottom of that announcement was the news that a 3rd division club from Tabuk called Al Sukur would now be owned by NEOM. Al Sukur, or the Falcons in Arabic, was formed in Tabuk in the 1960s and had spent most of its life bumping around in the 3rd tier of Saudi football. NEOM scouted the club, bought it, and then moulded it into NEOM's image. They changed the club's crest, colours, and most obviously, its name. A new training complex was built in Tabuk in 44 days. And the club now has a legitimate claim to be the richest in the world. In little over a year, millions of euros were spent on players. Saudi national team captain Salman Al-Faraj signed, as did Egyptian international Ahmed Hagazi, both stepping down a division to play for a brand new team in a remote part of the country. As did Brazilian coach Pericles Chamusca. NEOM executives took Chamusca on a helicopter ride before he signed. He said, "It was different and amazing. A giant project," recalling seeing NEOM from the air. "It makes you emotional and gives you the feeling that you're also part of this project, so you become more motivated." Now, NEOM has a 5-year plan. This year, promotion to the Saudi Pro League, then challenge for the title, and once that was won, challenge for FIFA's Club World Cup. And then, once the club had established itself as one of Asia's best, they were to be transplanted to their new home in a state-of-the-art World Cup stadium on top of the Line. "We don't believe in this word, impossible," said Mashari El-Matairi, the chairman of NEOM SC. "Everything is possible. We need to work hard, double time, and we'll reach it." Now, there is of course another side to this story. Far from being unpopulated lands, several tribes, including the Huaytat, who had lived there for centuries, had been forcibly displaced, their leaders arrested to make way for the Giga project. A recent BBC investigation found that villages, schools, and hospitals had been wiped off the map. One former colonel in Saudi intelligence, who since sought asylum in the UK, told the BBC that a shoot-to-kill policy was ordered against those who refused to leave. It's estimated that as many as 20,000 people have been forcibly displaced. MBS talks about NEOM as virgin land, but of course, as Saudis, we know these regions have been inhabited for centuries by tribes, including the Hawatat tribe, said Lina Al-Hathloul, an exiled activist for Al-Qust, a Saudi human rights NGO based in the UK. They, the Saudi authorities, don't call these arrests arbitrary. They say that they're justified because these people are a threat to national security, to national unity. The Saudi authorities have denied the allegations. Now, it's a huge project. 20% of the world's entire steel supply is currently being sent to NEOM, and a huge amount of labour is therefore needed. And, just like in the rest of the Gulf, tens of thousands of men from Asia and Africa have been brought in under kafala, a highly exploitative system that hands almost all power over a worker into the hands of an employer. Qatar was heavily criticised for its treatment of workers during the building of the 2022 World Cup, and conditions in Saudi Arabia appear to be worse. The ITV documentary Kingdom Uncovered Inside Saudi Arabia claimed that since 2017, 21,000 workers from Bangladesh, Nepal and India have already died on construction projects. The Saudi government called the figure misinformation. But the NEOM SC project continues. Saeed Ben Rama made his debut, and the team are currently top of the Saudi First Division League. "We know that there's no way we can't be promoted at the end of the season to the Pro League," said coach Pericles Jamuska. And given that the club has a budget comparable to the top Saudi teams, he's right. Saudi Arabia and the PIF have a plan, and NEOM Sports Club's future is already mapped out. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic is home to some of the world's best sports journalists, including David Ornstein, Daniel Taylor, Ollie Kay, Amy Lawrence and James Horncastle. With the latest transfer news and insight on every Premier League football story that matters, theathletic.com puts you inside football. And you can try it for free now for 30 days. See the link in the description.